On here today. I'm with Martin Priest, the raising money genius. How are you doing, Martin?
I'm okay.
So the reason I wanted to have this video is this interview is because I know some people that are looking to raise millions, right? And they need an expert. They need someone that knows their stuff. They need someone that is not afraid to tell them the truth. They need someone that is has their best interest in mind. And I've seen it in calls with you and I, and people that we help, right? With the strategy. But before we go into how do you help people raise money and et cetera, et cetera, I want you to tell a bit more about you, your background, and the last deal. I think you told me you helped raise up 1.8 million very, very recently. Tell us about that. We'll go from there.
Sure. Well, I'm a reformed investment banker who now focuses on as a financial advisor to help privately held companies and their owners to use their balance sheet to grow their business. So I help them execute financing and funding strategies that allows them to build their equity value in the process.
I love it. Tell me about you tell me the transaction size of deals you've been involved, because
Sure.
that number just blows my mind.
Well, it's an embarrassing number that sounds like, like something that, some jackass in a Lamborghini would say. But I've literally I've been involved in over $100 billion worth of transactions over the last 25 years. And those involve large financial institutions and all that sort of stuff. I've worked with municipals and states and mortgages and banks and hedge funds, and if you name a type of customer, whatever. I've structured some pretty crazy deals in my time. Let's see, the most recent deal that I completed is a $1.8 million deal. It involved a whiskey distillery.
How recent was this?
In the last, couple of weeks,
Okay.
we closed it out. What I did was I was able to create a vehicle for my investor, for my client, where they needed to grow, and they were tapped out, right? They just didn't have the liquidity that they needed to grow. They need to hire salespeople. They need to hire, they need to do whatever it is, right? And if you think about it, right, when you hire people, you're trying to grow your business. We're dealing with inflation, all these pressures on you. There's a lot of reasons for investors to say no. And what I realized was, and I've known this for a long time, I don't go after the little investor. I don't look for the dumb investor. I go out and I look for smart investors that are big enough and strong enough to be amazing partners, not just on this transaction, but on every transaction. So that if you do one transaction with them, they're going to want to do subsequent follow-on transactions.
I love it.
And what's called an accordion feature. We want to have accordion type relationships, right? That expand accordingly.
I love it. So you have the 1.8 million. You told me you're right now working on another deal. Tell me just very briefly about that other one.
Yeah, broadly speaking, I'm working with the specialty finance business to capitalize a $25 million balance sheet. It involves a pretty creative hybrid structure where I'm raising $5 million of mezzanine and $20 million of institutional liquidity. It's very cool. I love coming up with solutions that matter for our clients.
I love it. I just wanted to bring those two examples. This is not pie in the sky stuff. He's doing it right now. He has done it. He just done it weeks ago. He's been doing it. He'll keep on doing it. So I have a fund, Martin. I have a fund. I want to raise. Which again, before that, what was your what is the range you specialize in helping people with funding?
Sure. I try and stay between $1 and $20 million.
Okay.
Below $1 million, I find that those are businesses that have very simple problems that are not really growth oriented. And so if you're looking for $200,000 or $500,000, I'm not saying that's a small amount of money. It's certainly a meaningful amount of money, but practically speaking, because my ideal clients that I work with are trying to drive growth, a $200,000 or $500,000 deal, frankly,
It's nothing.
frankly, well, no, it's not. They're not trying to drive growth, and frankly, they shouldn't have to go and get investors to get that. They should be what they should be able to do, and this is a conversation I have, is they should be able to think creatively to generate non-cash solutions to
Yeah,
create to drive that growth.
I'm with
Right.
you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I love that. You're right. So I have a fund. Again, going back to I have a fund. I want to raise a couple million, 5 million, 10 million. What does it look like to work with you to get that money?
Sure. If you talk about let's talk about how I've already gone through like how I learned to do this, right? It's not just, unfortunately, it's not trial and error. I've also like literally, worked 80 hours a week on Wall Street. I've had dozens and dozens of clients that I've gone through and learned how to do this. Not only, and amazingly enough, or oddly enough, I don't know, one of the two, I literally am a professor at a university teaching corporate finance on how to do this. So I've definitely learned it a lot of different ways, and it's taken me 20 years to get to this point. And sometimes it's pretty exhausting, right? You can make some amazing, you can learn a great deal of things by making really stupid mistakes. And I'm very fortunate in that I'm able to come up with some stupid mistakes. So I've learned a lot. But that being said, the strategy that we can go through is very simply, you want to understand there's yourself and your company, and there is an ideal investor out there. And this should sound familiar to you if you think about marketing, right? But here's the one thing that isn't there, that most people don't think about, is that there's a structure. So you have to structure the deal so that all three, and you have to align all 3 points, the structure, the investor, and the company, in the same way, so that you're accomplishing what you need. And so my goal, overwhelmingly, strategically, is to understand a company, take what I know about the nearly 3,000 institutional investors I have in my book, and come up with, first of all, how do you match the company with the investors, right? Like, I'm not going to call KKR, the large, one of the top 3 private equity funds in the world, and show them your business if you're doing $3 million of revenue. They look at you and say you're small potatoes. That's a waste of time. And a lot of people tell you there's this fantasy that you're going to go get a whale investor to come in and step in and give you, like, I think on this show Shark Tank. I don't know if anybody watches that or anything, but there's like the Shark Tank fantasy that like a billionaire will airlift like all sorts of money into you, whatever. That's not how it works. The vast majority of investments are made by people in offices who have a particular set of investment criteria. And so we need to know, and I make my business to know, what is the investment criteria for that group? How do we get your business matched up with people whose investment criteria will approve of you? The next thing is making certain that you are presenting to them a structure that solves 2 things. One, fits in again into their investment criteria, but also gives you the financial flexibility to drive growth. It's one thing to give you $1 million, but it's the devil's in the details. It could be $1 million, $10 million, it could be $100 million. The reality is, the wrong client, the wrong bag of money will be used inappropriately and will run through your business. And actually what it'll do is it'll destroy the value of your company. And so the worst, if you, I don't know if you've ever seen a dog, been to a dog track, but the dogs are running around chasing the electric rabbit, right? Well, a lot of companies are running around chasing the bag of money, and occasionally they catch it and it kills them. You don't want that. What you want to do is you don't want to be in a chase situation. You want to be in a build situation. And so I always counsel my clients to come up with a structure that makes a lot of sense so that we literally know what it looks like. So that's the big strategy. Now, what are the tactics of how you get there? Well, basically what we do is if we're a good fit, what I do is I will sit down with you and we need to come up with a marketing strategy, a targeting strategy, and a capital strategy. And I will sit down with you for 90 minutes where I will look at your business, your financial statements, and everything like that. And we will go through and just make certain that you know who what are the right financial options available to you so that your balance sheet can grow. Then I will literally tell you, here are the 5 institutional clients that I believe are the best match for you. I'll give you their names of the institutions. And then, so now what we're doing is we're eliminating the guesswork, because they're really, if you think about it, overwhelmingly what drives the length of time on a client getting the money that they want, it's the searching for the right investor. Well, I know who to talk to because I know their investment criteria. It's trying to negotiate the structure. I already know that. Here's where we are. It's being able to present yourself and remind and be a credible person. We coach you through that, right? I will literally get on the phone and make the introduction and necessary, guide the conversation through the structuring and approval process. And then when it's all said and done, we will look at the structure and make certain that it's going through your capital structure to give you the growth potential that you need. So you'll have free cash flow, you'll have equity growth, all sort of stuff. So we're looking to make a smart bomb, or a targeted smart bomb decision, right? Who should we talk to? So we eliminate the wasted time. What should we talk about? We're doing that because we have the right structure. And more importantly, what is the ultimate proposition so that people will feel proud to invest in your business? Because ultimately, every investor has to justify it. And because we're talking only about institutional investors, these are going to be investors that are big enough to step up and really accordion their exposure to and give you the depth that you need. So yeah, that's kind of those are the tactics of, it's a very intense, short process. And at the end of that, if you want to execute the process on your own, that's cool. You do that. That makes sense. And if you don't want to do it on your own and you need help, me or one of my colleagues will literally walk you through it step by step to get cash into your business that is going to lead to increased revenue and profits.
Yeah, smart. Yeah, the right money, not any money, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, love that. What are some typical concerns that people might have with working with you or with people like you? And then what are your answers to it?
Sure. The first one that most people will that should be concerned about is it going to work, right? Who wants to spend a bunch of time with somebody whether or not it's going to work or not? The answer to that question is I am overwhelmingly, I make more money when I get deals done, period. So I don't take deals unless I can get them done. It's just, look, if the world changes and something crazy happens, we have to adjust. But that's what I'm a big believer in only take clients that I think I can genuinely help. And if I can't help you, I will tell you quickly and I will send you on your way. And sometimes I'll even make an introduction to the person who can help you. The next reason that people would not may not want to work with me is, they think that bankers like me or advisors like me are getting paid too much. The reality is, for what I get paid on a very simple schedule that's so simple, literally, I just copy what I get paid off of a Wikipedia page. I don't negotiate fees. I don't try and gouge anyone. I just get paid what is the industry standard. No, no negotiating, no worrying about getting, jammed up. The third thing that people tend to be worried about is they can't afford it now. Well, I can tell you that I'm always ready to figure out how to make a deal so that the success of the deal is there for you, right? I need to get more scalps on the board, and so that's what I focus on. How do we get good scalps on the board? And so if you're worried about paying fees and all sorts of stuff, well, you're not going to pay any fees unless you get exactly what you want. Okay. And I think as far as like other concerns about working with me, well, it's me and a couple of associates, and that's it. We're very focused exclusively on our clients. And I don't want to be in the business of operating any massive company or anything like that. So you get a lot of focus and a lot of attention. And frankly, it is a creative process, right? But I can also tell you that we get things done as a result of it.
Love it. So what are the next steps for people is basically to book a call. We'll have a link. A form. You're going to fill that out, and then you're on your way. You're going to get a chance to talk to Martin. And I think that's pretty much it. I have to say personally, working with Martin, it's been amazing. He's brutally honest about the reality of things when doing a deal, and he's always there to support. And I think that's highly valuable in this world where everybody is just available via email and stuff like that, and maybe Monday through Friday, like just very limited. And Martin is always there to help.
Don't tell them I'm around on the weekend.
Oh, come on. Well,
look, the reality is, all kidding aside, this is a business where my job is to counsel my clients, and that doesn't conform to the post office hours.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why
it.
I recommend just doing stuff with Martin. And then again, you have the link in the description if you guys want to do something. Any final words, Martin?
Look, I can tell you this: the world is about to change, right? The Fed is and the central banks are taking away the punch bowl. Bitcoin has been, and cryptocurrency has been exposed as a sham. Yeah, I said it. And there's a lot of money that's about to disappear. And what matters is you need investment partners that can fund your growth over the next part of the financial cycle. And we're running out of time. Banks are going to tighten their balance sheets. You can't, maybe you already have a bank and that's great. And they're giving you lending, but my suggestion is that if your bank is lending you all the money that you're asking for, you're probably not asking for enough. So, which means you're not trying to grow enough. The world is going to need stable, long-term liquidity. Your business needs that. And this is going to be a tough road. We have not seen in the West inflation and growth numbers like what we're about to see or starting to see in 50 years. Think about that, right? Your parents were worried about these problems, and now you are. You've never had, most of us have never had to worry about these directly in our lifetimes. I know for a fact that there are good businesses that are going to go out of business in the next 5 years because they didn't manage their liquidity correctly right now. And if you don't make this, if you don't shore up your balance sheet, if you're not making certain you have the liquidity to drive your growth right now, your business is basically going to be a zombie as inflation and a recession compress down on your margins and your profitability. So you can take you have a choice, whether or not you work with me or not. Get ready for the long winter, as they say, or be prepared to perish, because you can take a winning company today and completely destroy it through no fault of your own if you cannot manage the liquidity situation of the next 2 or 3 years.
Wow, powerful, powerful. Thank you so much, Martin. Again, we'll leave the next steps info the description of this video. And for all of the rest of you, thank you for listening. Share if this was helpful, and we'll talk soon. Take care.
Thanks, Armand.